You're tuned into the Education Beat, Evidence to Excellence. I'm your host, Matthew Lavery, Deputy Director for the South Carolina Education Oversight Committee. Join us as we explore the data, research, and stories shaping education in South Carolina. Welcome Monique Smalls, District Transformation Coach for the South Carolina Department of Education, and Christy Dodd, Principal of Flat Rock Elementary School of Anderson County School District 3. When we asked participants in our study to describe the culture at partner schools, the word that came up the most was family. I wonder if you could both start by telling us what a school culture that is like a family looks like. What are the key aspects of a healthy culture?
I think a healthy culture begins where we identify folks in our building as more than just the teacher or the staff. We look beyond their profession, their job, because they're individuals outside of the school. And so like we say, we look at a whole child. In our school with healthy culture and healthy family, we look at the whole staff.
I agree. I also think that when we look at our faculty and staff to create that healthy culture where people feel like family, you have to make them feel like that before they can make somebody else feel like that. And I believe that it's giving leadership opportunities to both faculty and staff and students. And when you create opportunities for leadership, you get more buy-in. And when you get more buy-in, you create a family.
So there's a sense in which there's a sense of ownership over this place and these processes that come from the shared leadership?
Yes, I do believe that, because I've often said there can be one principal in the building, but there can't just be one leader.
Sure.
And sometimes I think it's our job as principal to see leadership where an individual may not realize they have those skills, and to try to pull that out of them to create opportunities for people. Because when you have somebody quiet in the background, but you see something that could be some really good quiet leadership, you pull that from them and give them opportunities, and then they have more buy-in. And again, that's a family.
It's establishing voice for everyone concerned. Everyone has a voice in how the building is run. The title of a principal means zero. And we collectively work together to run that building. So even though I have that title, it's not that I get the final say-so, because other people actually have good input that can help run the building.
She's right. Principal means zero. We don't list our job description, and that's something that I'm very proud of. I've never had to list a job description for an AP, a reading coach, an interventionist, counselor, because we do what needs to be done, and there's a lot of overlap.
That's right.
With what everybody needs to do. And so that's where you get the buy-in, because they don't see us in this defined role, because they know we're willing to do whatever we need to do to make this work.
And family takes care of each other.
Absolutely.
I think that's the major thing.
Absolutely.
We take care of each
Love that.
other.
Absolutely.
Inside, out, in work, outside of work. And our kids see that, because I believe when the students see how the people, the adults in the building interact with one another, that relationship rolls over into how they treat each other as well.
It models sort of what we do here.
Absolutely.
This is who we are.
And
Yes.
it's important that we remember it's not just about teachers, but it's your office staff,
Everyone.
your custodians.
Yes.
We have these traditional roles in our minds, but when you take those people out of tradition, special things happen.
That's right.
I love this. So John Hattie's work on visible learning has as one of its big ideas, climate first, learning second, achievement third. This seems to suggest that if a school leader wants to implement what we've learned from our Beating the Odds partner schools, focusing on climate and culture is a good first step. So what can school leaders do to help create that family-like culture that we've seen in your schools?
It starts with the leader. Establishing, I think one of the major key things that I did was I established that I wanted to get to know my staff beyond what they do in the classroom. Many of us deal with silent things outside of work that impact our daily work. You have people who are having to take care of their elderly parents. You have single mothers who have to run home and take care of multiple children. You have, just daily strife and struggles, And so I get to know my staff on a personal level because you might be 5 minutes late daily, but I don't know what caused that 5 minutes. But knowing my staff intimately in those ways helps me to create that climate in my building. And they know that I understand their struggles. And so they're more apt to do the things that I ask them to do that helps produce student academic achievement because we've taken care of the other things up front in terms of climate.
I never close my office door.
Yep, me neither.
I never close my office door.
Okay.
Everybody that works in our building and the students know if the door's closed, it's a big reason. So as simple as that is, it invites people to walk through the door. I also keep candy dishes at the door. And that invites, and it makes people comfortable, and they expect certain kinds of candy to be there. At this point, I'm mother to everybody, and I know what their favorites are. But one of the things I did when I became principal of Flat Rock was just sat down and had conversation with everybody individually to get to know them. And we do that when we bring new people in. And I think it's important. I think I have a good model in my superintendent. When I interviewed for my job, I said, I'm a wife and a mother first, and then I'm going to do the very best job I can do for you. And I took that, and that applies to everybody else in my building. You may be a good spouse or partner and a good parent, and then you come be a good teacher. And I think when you put things in perspective and in correct order, again, I call it Flat Rock magic. Things just happen when people feel loved and valued for the other roles that they have besides teacher.
And they don't feel like they have to choose.
Correct.
So how hard is it for someone to have to choose whether they're going to stay home and take care of their sick child versus come in and teach their classroom?
Right.
No one should have to make that choice because we're a parent first. We're grateful for our job and our profession, but I shouldn't have to place my child second to that. And so we created in our building a climate that allowed folks to feel comfortable saying, Ms. Smalls, I can't come in today. My child is sick. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And if that meant as the principal, I had to go teach that class, I go teach the class.
Absolutely.
Because we want them to know they're supported. Also, I ultimately believe if a teacher's happy, student outcomes are better. So if that teacher knows that I can stay home and take care of my sick kid and my principal has my back, when they do come back, they're giving me their all.
So in light of all that, what are some of the challenges in establishing this kind of family culture? What gets in the way?
Exhaustion from the leader.
Time.
That's real.
I usually would go home and say to my boys who are older that mom has used all her words for today because we spend a lot of our time utilizing our words and our actions to keep our staff supported and to make them feel welcomed and happy. But when you get home as a leader, sometimes you're just exhausted and you have nothing left to give. So that's definitely a challenge.
It's a lot. I explained to a teacher just this week, and I reflect the longer I do this. You bring something to me, and I want to take that from you. And then another teacher who has no idea that you've been to me comes in and gives me something else, and I'm going to take that too. And then another teacher who has no idea that these people have been comes and he or she brings me something else. And I'm going to take that too because that's the way I'm built, and I think that's the way you're built too. And that is servant leadership, and I'm going to take that and try to help you with it. And that's a lot. So the big challenge is having no words when you get home sometimes in the afternoons and having to learn how to balance and take care of yourself so that you can keep giving that to people.
Self-care.
Self-care.
Absolutely.
So that is a really important factor.
It is.
in all
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Healthy habits and self-care make a huge difference in how you are able to lead this type of place.
If you're thinking in terms of longevity, Definitely self-care.
Absolutely.
So, Ms. Smalls, you had said happy teachers produce better student outcomes. Can you expand on that?
When a teacher is happy and excited to come to work, try new things with their students, they're going to put forth all of their effort when they're in that classroom with their students. If you have a disgruntled staff member that just comes to work every day and hates the environment, they don't give their all. So as a leader, it's our job to ensure that we address the things that are concerning to them. We make sure the environment feels one that is uplifting so that they want to come to work. I work in a district that doesn't pay the highest pay. You know, we have people surrounding us that pay a lot more, but my turnover was not bad. Why? Because they were happy with the environment in which they worked. And they then give all that passion that they have inside of them to their students. And they make sure that those students excel and that better student outcomes.
So, Principal Dodd, this resonates with something that when we had come to your school for the study visit, you had mentioned a conversation you had with your superintendent when you took this job. You remember what I'm referring to?
I do remember what you're referring to.
Could you tell us about that?
So when I went in for my interview with Kathy Hip, I told her, I love Jesus first. I'm a wife second. I'm a mother third. And then I'm going to do my very best job to be the principal of Flat Rock Elementary School. And she agreed with me that that was the correct order of my obligations. And she said, and when you put things in the right perspective, good things happen. And to go along with what you said, I pride myself in being a teacher's principal. Now, I'm the custodian's principal, I'm the office staff principal, but I'm a teacher's principal because our job is to make sure the people teaching our students are happy. We are there for them. They are our direct responsibility.
That's right.
I know we don't like it, but the students are our indirect responsibility. They belong to the teachers. But we need to make sure teachers are where they need to be so that they can make sure our students are where they need to be.
Right.
And it all works together.
That's right.
It does.
It's a domino.
Absolutely. It works.
Nice. So, Ms. Smalls, you had said that a school's culture drives student success. And I wonder if you could both comment on that. How does school culture drive success? How can culture encourage high student achievement?
Yeah, I've established in our building, and you don't have to necessarily get into socioeconomic status and all of the things, but I worked in an area that the expectations were not high initially. We established in that building, for starters, before I set out to do anything else, everyone in this building can achieve. We are not going to look at what happened in the past. We're not going to look at what you come from. We're going to establish that I have high expectations for everyone in this building. And that's how we're going to have the culture within our building. From everyone to my secretary, down to my custodial staff, to the students, everybody, the same thing for everyone, high expectations. Establishing that culture in that building where even my parents knew it. When they come to the building and they want to pull their kid out early, we establish that you do understand the importance that they're missing this time and this time. Can you try and schedule their appointments later? All of the things. We hold everyone accountable to help make the culture in that building. And after a certain amount of time, everyone becomes comfortable with it. That's just how we roll, as we say, Everyone knows that we're going to have high expectations for everyone. We're going to smile and be courteous when we see someone in the hall. We're going to say good morning. I stood in the hallway every morning and greeted every kid as they walked to class. That's the expectation. I'm starting your day off right. I want to start my day off right.
Yes.
Go in the classroom, sit down. I participate in lessons with the kids, or I teach a class, because that's the expectation. And we do it with a smile. Even when I'm exhausted, even when I've had things happen at home the night before, whatever the case may be. As the leader, I modeled that. So then what do my teachers do? They do the same thing.
Absolutely.
So that creates a culture in where everyone is excited to come to school. Everyone's excited to learn. My parents and the community are excited. They stop grabbing their kids out early, so you create that whole culture. It overflows into the community and it becomes just natural.
Because this is who we are.
That's just who we are. We have a saying that we just made school school.
Mhm.
That's all we did. We just made school school.
I think we place a lot of stereotypes on children who live in poverty. And we have a clear message at Flat Rock Elementary School. It doesn't matter where you started. We're more interested in where you finish.
Oh, I love it.
And everybody understands that. And there are no excuses. Poverty is not going to be used as an excuse. And when you create a culture where children understand that we're just not going to accept those kinds of excuses, I've always said if children understand the truth, they rise to the occasion,
I
and
agree.
they do. When they know the truth about their data, when they know the truth about what's going on with them, they rise to the occasion. Grown-ups do as well. Everybody rises
And you
when
present
they
it
know.
to them, right? You tell them up front. You don't sugarcoat it. You just give it to them.
Yes.
And then we talk about what are we going to do about it.
But I think something that you said, we're present. We're not hiding in the building
right.
somewhere. I think a lot of people have this perceived notion that the principal hides somewhere. I scan breakfast cards. I scan 400 breakfast cards every morning. That way I lay eyes on every
kid.
child
Yep.
before the school day ever starts. And so
I clean cafeteria. I sweep the halls.
So
They're
be visible.
everyone. Yeah.
You have to be visible, and they have to see you doing tasks that are unexpected.
Yes.
So if we're in this together, then I need to see you being in this with me
That's right.
to know that we're in this together.
That's right.
Yeah.
Need to participate in a lesson. I need to wipe a cafeteria table.
Yeah.
I need to answer a telephone. I need to do all those things.
It's funny because I had a teacher, I lost a third grade teacher at some point, and I, as a principal, had to take over and teach the class, right? Every morning, 7 o'clock, I'm in the room. And I remember the first day I went in there and the kid said, "You teach?" Yes, baby. I'm a teacher first, you know? I just happen to be the principal of the school, but I am a teacher. And I get it. I'm taught every single day. Yeah.
It's interesting for me. I've been with my school district for 26 years, so I taught a lot of the parents of the children in my school now. And so they know I teach because I get a lot of, you taught my mama, you taught my daddy. And it's, we have a reunion in the carpool line in the afternoon sometimes.
That's
but,
awesome.
But and I'll tell you, that's helped create culture as well because parents are like, I already know what her expectation is because I've been there.
Yeah, the culture is not just in the building. The culture overflows into the community.
Yeah.
And that's the power. Because if I call a parent because we're having an issue, I get backing because the community understands the established culture in the building. Yeah.
Which is also an unusual thing when we're talking about schools of poverty. You do not expect to have community buy-in and parent input. And I tell people all the time, you would be amazed anytime we open our doors to our families, it is standing room only.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was really impressed by that. In all of our partner schools, the parents kept showing up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And not to just Remus either. They come there because they're celebrating
right.
this success.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm loving this conversation, and our time is up. And I feel as though we've only just scratched the surface. Could I impose upon you? Would you be willing to come back and do a part 2?
Sure. For sure.
Okay, brilliant, because we have to hear more. Until then, I'm curious about what you've learned from one another. What is one takeaway for each of you from our conversation today?
We're not in a silo. There are many other schools, districts who are experiencing some of the same things, and our connection is stronger when we plan and talk about our likeness.
And we have so much, we figured out we have so much in common. Like, I'm going to have her phone number and her email address before I leave here today. And we've never met before today, but we have similar situations and their strength in numbers.
Agreed.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us today on The Education Beat, from Evidence to Excellence.